Welcome to the 84th video in our series about Unix tools. In this video, I'm going to continue showing you how to use Git for a simple one-person project. In this video, I'll show several one-time per project configuration tasks. In the previous video, we created our Git repository with git init dot. We added some files using git add, and we verified that with git status. Then we tried git commit, and we got some errors because git said it needed an email and a name. It suggested global configuration, but that would set it for all projects. And you might want to use different emails for different projects. You might want to specify your full legal name for some projects, and other projects you might want to use your nickname. So I used git config local, and we set the user email and user username as you see here. At that point we did a git commit and it worked, but it brought up the nano editor, which is fine, but I wanted VI. I think everybody knows by now I'm a VI lover. So I want VI. After we did the commit, we made some more silly changes and another commit so that I could show you git diff. And git diff was used to show the differences between the initial version we checked in and our new latest version, so that you could see, yes, Git really knows the difference between versions. But we saw hideous, to me, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, hideous colorized output. And it used things like yellow and orange on a white background that were almost impossible to read. I promised at the end of that video I'd show you how to fix these things, and this is the video where I show that to you. I think that's enough introduction. Let's get to it. So here is our project directory, and if we do a git status, you can see there's nothing to commit. The working tree is clean. That means that there are no pending changes. And if I do a git log to show the history, I get those horrible colors. I mean, sky blue on white. How are you supposed to read that? So how can we fix these problems? Finding out how to fix them, frankly, is tough, because there is a man git config. But watch this. As you can see, there are 5,689 lines in the man page. It would take you, as a non-native speaker, weeks to read that. As a native speaker, you're still looking at several hours. What most people do is watch some video like this one, or look at some website hints and learn which things to tune. But it is documented if you're patient enough to read it. I'm not making this stuff up. Let's fix the colorized output first, because that is the most annoying thing. We know we do a git config, and I want to do local because it's only for this project. I don't want to change any other project. And then you specify core editor, and you can give the value you want. I'd like VI. Make sure that whatever you give is a real editor on the path. And you say, oh, I can't do it, right? Core edit says invalid key. And you think, now wait a minute, this ought to work. And so you go back and you say, man, git config. And notice the git config command has no minus, but the man page does. Git is a version control tool that is the most powerful in the world, but it's also, like VI, it has a vertical learning curve, and you're just going to have to deal with it. So, git, config, type, fixed value, show origin, blah, 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 and it shows you all this stuff. And you look at this and you think, am I ever going to get this right? And it's quite confusing. And so it's easy to give up, but you don't want to do that. So let's try to look for an example. Examples. And they show you a git config file that's already ready to go. And they say there is a core file mode, but notice there's no equal sign there. Okay, let's go back here and try this without the equal sign. That seemed to work. And then git config local color user interface. Never. Okay, I've made the two changes for the most annoying problems. The first one, change my editor to VI. The second one says don't colorize. We can test that easy. Let's do a git log and see if it looks the same. No, it's in beautiful all black text on the white background. And of course, it's whatever color the text of your terminal is. But what it does not do is include any of these color changes. But we haven't been able to test whether or not it colorizes on diff. If you remember, I showed you git diff, and I said for a project like this, you take the old number and then a dot dot and the new number you want to compare it with. These numbers are called the commit hash, and it's a unique identifier for that particular commit. And the commit is the set of changes in the version control system. So if I do that, that's going to show me everything after initial version up to the check-in that we did for add better file level comment. Wonderful. No colorized output at all. It's all in beautiful black and white the way the Unix gods intended. Are there other things we can fix? Well, let's take a look at git status. When we do git status, we get this long answer, but we haven't made any changes, so it doesn't show much. Let's make a change. Okay, we made a change, and if we do a git status, we get this big, long blob here, and it says all this stuff, but it does notice that this has been modified. But you can get this output, and this output is so much easier to read, the short output. And you see an M in the second column, which means the file is modified, but it's not staged. They haven't done a git add. So let's do a git add, which adds it to the set of changes that'll be used in the next commit. So git status is a little less verbose, but if we do git status short, you see the M has moved from column 2 to column 1. Most people who use git very much don't use this long form anymore. Most people use the short form for git status. And so let's see what happens when we commit. Oh, we should take a look at the difference. And it shows no difference. Why does it show no difference? Well, because there's no difference between what's in your working directory and what you've already staged. If you do that, git diff cached. Why doesn't it say staged? I don't know, okay? It's just this is how you have to do it. Git diff cached shows you the differences that are going to be committed that you've already done a git add for. And of course, we added a comment here to the make file. And so if we were going to commit that, we could say git commit, and then it sort of tells you, okay, makefile 2 was modified, but you have to remember in your head what got changed. And so we'll add and you notice I'm in VI now. If you're not sure, okay, I'm in VI the way I want to be, not in the nano. If you like nano, leave it at nano. But Git will let you tune it to be whatever you want it to be. Now I need to be quiet and get this commit message in, and so let's do it. Okay, and you see that it did tell us that it shows the message. It tells us how many files were changed, just one, and it says 3 insertions because we inserted 3 lines. If we do a git status now, it shows nothing's going on. If we do a git status short, it just shows nothing. And you'll see me sometimes, I won't type out status, it'll say that, and you really need to say status because it can't tell the difference. So I'll say git stat, but you have to type git status. Now let's do a git log to show the history, and we can see 1, 2, and here's our new one. And the head or master, which means the latest one, is the last one we checked in. We're out of time in this video, but we did achieve our goals, I think, of tuning the Git version control system to use VI, use the editor of our choice, and I turned off the colorization, and I did it locally just for this repository without interfering with any other. Okay, come back next time and we'll continue on our journey of learning how to use Git version control. Until then, thank you for listening.